Hi guys, hope you're staying safe. Welcome to my platform. If you are new here, this is an all things health platform. My name is Dr. Karen, and today's episode we are going to talk about mental health. And I decided to start with prevention. You know the old saying that prevention is better than cure. That saying has never gone out of place, and it will never go out of time. So today we are going to talk about prevention of mental health, and there are several levels of prevention, but for the purposes of today's video, I'll dwell more on the primary prevention. There's primary prevention, secondary prevention, and tertiary prevention, but the core of it all is primary prevention, where you prevent the disease from occurring. You prevent the onset of the disease. So, and mental health has faced a lot of stigma. People with mental health disorders, people with depression and other mental health, mental diseases have faced a lot of stigma from the community. And the first step in prevention of mental diseases is destigmatization. So let's get right to it. And mental health cuts across all ages, cuts across people of all socioeconomic status, everyone. So I will begin by letting you know that it's good to start early to prevent mental disorders, and I'll begin by explaining to you since pregnancy. When a woman is pregnant, most of us really do not know why emphasis is put on telling a pregnant woman to attend antenatal clinics and to take iron and folic acid supplements, to exercise. And again, when a woman is pregnant, we should learn to let them avoid being so anxious about the gender of the child, or pressurizing women to give birth to children of a specific gender. These worries will eventually lead to a woman getting postpartum depression, and when a woman does not take the supplements, the iron and folate supplements, they will end up most of the times getting children with malformations, children with cleft palate, cleft lip, children with other deformities. And if you are a mother and you give birth to a child who has a deformity, there are chances that you'll be more stressed about the condition of your child, and will eventually go into depression, go into some form of mental destabilization. And that's why pregnant women are advised to take those iron and folic acid supplements. So we come to the birth of the child. During delivery, so many things could go wrong. It's important for a child to cry after birth, but the child may not, and they may end up developing brain damage, which would predispose them to developing mental diseases later on in their lives. And so it's important to look into those things during childbirth, prolonged labor. Some children develop yellowness of eyes. The yellowness of eyes may sometimes affect the brain development of a child, and they end up developing some mental conditions. And of emphasis is when things go wrong, and you give birth to a child who is physically handicapped, mentally, who has a particular deformity. It's good that we give these children their psychological support. We show them that we love them, we provide for them. It's not good to discriminate them, as this affects their psychological development, and they may be tipped off to developing mental disorders later on in life. And another point is about identifying abnormal behaviors in children. You know, there are things that people in our community, people in our society think they're normal, but they're not. Things like thumb sucking, you know. I know most of us know people who have been sucking their thumbs, nail biting, hair pulling, bullying other children, defiance. You know, there are those children when they cannot follow instructions, or children who do not play with their age mates. Those things are not normal, and it's good to identify such abnormal behavior so that you can tackle them and seek help at the correct time. So it's good for parents to know the behavior of your children. You know, there are times when some parents are too busy working that they do not notice that something is going on with their children. And again, as a parent, it's paramount for you to observe the development of your child. You know, there are developmental milestones. There are certain things that a child must achieve at a certain time, and when they do not, it should alert you, it should ring an alarm to you so that you seek help for your child. For instance, if your child has not spoken, or they have difficulties speaking, or there are difficulties talking, or there are difficulties, they are stuttering, it's good to seek help from a speech therapist. But if you do not, such things will affect the mental wellness of the child in future, because most young children, sometimes they laugh at their fellow children who are stuttering, who have problems pronouncing certain things, and that has a detrimental effect on the child who's being laughed at. And it's good sometimes we as parents, if you're a parent, to talk to your children about being mindful of the wellness of their colleagues. And another very important way of preventing mental illnesses is identifying individuals with situational crisis. You know, so such crises include post-election violence, victims of post-election violence, victims of rape, victims of terrorism and riots, victims who have witnessed major trauma. For example, if you've witnessed someone being killed, if you've witnessed your parent dying, and another situation that can tip someone into a mental disease is failure in life. For example, failing exams. I know it's common in our setting to hear that students commit suicide after results, KCP results, KCSE results have been released. And it's sad because in other countries, in most of the developed countries, all institutions have got a psychologist, a therapist, a psychiatrist who counsels individuals when they go through hard things in life. For example, if you lose a parent, if you are involved in a major trauma, if you are involved in a traumatizing event, you're usually linked to a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a counselor to talk to you about that thing, irregardless of whether you're traumatized or not. Again, another thing is people in toxic relationships. You know, sometimes if you are in a relationship where you are emasculated, or you are going through emotional abuse or physical abuse, you tend to be sad. Sometimes you got into depression, you want to commit suicide. It's really, really important that you see someone, you talk to someone. It does not always need to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist. It's important to have someone, a support system. It could be your friend, it could be your partner, it could be could be your parents, someone you talk to. And for a long time we have been saying that everyone needs a shoulder to lean on, everyone needs an ear to listen to. That's a very important. A problem half, if you talk to someone about your problem, it's half solved. And people take for granted the fact that you can talk to someone about your problem, and the moment you've talked to someone about it, you ease a little bit. And it's also good to have friends, have genuine friends, people you can talk to, tell them about your problems. And that could really help. If you cannot talk to your friends, please see a psychologist. And I know in our local setting, most people do not want to go and see a psychiatrist or a psychologist because of the stereotype that surrounds mental health. And again, there are so many psychologists around in public hospitals, for instance, but no one comes to see them. Why? Because people are afraid. People are afraid to tell people their problems. And I must say that's why most men tend to commit suicide and succeed with it, because they do not share their problems. They just keep their things inside. For women like to talk, they like to cry, they like to let their things out, and that's really what helps. And I really advise for people, when talk to someone, even if it's a stranger, just tell them your problems. Because when you talk to someone, you become at ease with yourself. At least you release the tension, you become at peace with yourself, that you are not carrying the load all by yourself. Then another point is mental illnesses are usually common in people with terminal illnesses. For example, if you have diabetes mellitus, hiyo ni ugonjwa wa sukari. Most people, because this is a disease that you have to take medications the rest of your life, and people really are burdened by it. So these people, they have a higher chance of developing a mental illness. And it's good to always look out for them. People with cancer, people with HIV, people with hypertension, and currently people with COVID-19, because there is a lot of stigma surrounding COVID-19. No one wants to talk to you. People think that when they come close to you, they will die. We have heard of cases where patients of COVID-19 who have recovered want to commit suicide because they don't want to go back to their relatives because of the stigma surrounding the whole COVID-19 situation. And it's sad, but we really need as a society to destigmatize the stigma surrounding mental health. Then another thing is our African parents. We all have really strict parents. They have too much expectations, and these expectations sometimes have a negative impact on our children, because if they do not meet the standards that you as a parent is aiming at, you end up quarreling them, beating them up. You are always on their case, and most of the time they are tipped off to depression. Others commit suicide because they could not achieve whatever their parents really wanted them to achieve. And another thing is being broke. When you don't have money, you are sad. You don't know what you will eat. You don't know who will pay your rent. It pushes you to really bad corners, And another thing is the myths surrounding mental illnesses. In our setting, we mostly believe that mental illnesses are as a result of curses, or your parents, they did something, or your ancestors did something, that's why people in your family, they are having certain mental illnesses. That's a myth, that's a lie. Most of these mental illnesses are genetic. For instance, if both your parents have the disease, there are chances that most people in your family, if you carry the gene that codes for that disease, you will develop the mental illness. And people will start saying, oh, familia ya kina nani kitambo walifanya sijui dhambi gani, sasa curses and curses. No, there are no curses surrounding mental health. That's just a myth, and that's why it continues to be stigmatized because of such myths. And I appeal to you, my listeners, please, let's really come out and destigmatize these things. It's really sad when you see someone is out there, they are collecting all the litter, or they eat dirt, and no one, their families and their close ones neglect them because no one wants to be associated with mwenda wazimu, and it's really sad. And another thing is about awareness. I know maybe in our situation we've not reached the point where okay, health workers, we really try to do community education, we create awareness in the community, but it's not really enough because there are many people who don't really know about the reality of mental health, the situation as it is, the causes, the treatment, how you go about seeking help. And creating awareness is really plays a really major role in prevention of these mental illnesses. And another thing, drug addiction and drugs. There are certain drugs that have been linked to causing mental illnesses. And if you are a person who is addicted, develop systems that help you avoid situations that will put you into acquiring those drugs. Avoid those friends who put you into negativity, or they make you do things that you do not want to do. Or develop a hobby, do something, go and volunteer in community work. Go, sometimes they say they are cleaning hospitals or they are picking litter. Just involve yourself in those things because they'll take your mind from your very addiction. And again, there are people in our surroundings that they are so negative, they put you down. Maybe, for example, for me, they tell me, Karen, you cannot do this, or no one in your family has made it, you cannot make it. Avoid those kind of people. They are people full of negativity, and those are the people who, they are always feeding you with negative things, negative thoughts. And it's because of such people that you are always thinking negatively about yourself. So keep off from such people. Develop a belief system. If you are a Christian, if you are a Muslim, believe in something. And there is another thing about giving back to the society. Like, you can go and volunteer doing something. This gives you a sense of belonging and makes you feel important, feel special about yourself. And when you feel special about yourself, you feel like you belong to somewhere, you feel that you are appreciated, you feel that you are giving back to the society, and you feel good about yourself. Another thing is celebrate your small wins. Celebrate your small wins. If you succeed in something, pat yourself on the back. Throw yourself a party. People might think you are showing off, but you are not. You are celebrating yourself for your small wins. And another thing is accepting that there are things you cannot change. There are things that they are the way they are, and you can do nothing about them. If, for instance, you are born to a family, maybe without enough, or you are born with a certain medical condition, or you are handicapped, you are born with a certain thing that you do not like. It's good to accept that you cannot change certain things. They'll just remain the way they are. And the sooner you believe in that, the sooner you are good. You are good to exist and live with it. And there are so many things. There are so many things that we can talk concerning prevention of mental conditions, but the few that I have stated at least can help someone in one way or another. And please, let's come together as a community, as a society, as a nation. Let's destigmatize mental health and seek help. When you have a problem, talk to someone, talk to your friend, talk to your family, talk to your partner, talk to someone you trust. And if you can even talk to a stranger. After all, the stranger doesn't know you. And if you cannot talk to me, I can link you to the right people to talk to you. Thank you for watching the video, and till next time, we will be talking about depression on the next video. Till next time, stay safe. Bye.